2 deadly days in a row for U.S. troops in Afghanistan. 8 Americans were killed today while on patrol in the southern part of the country, and that brings the death toll for U.S. service members in Afghanistan to 17 in just the past 2 days. But even though the Afghan runoff is set for November 7th and the president leaves for Asia on November 11th, President Obama is insisting that the calendar is not dictating the decision that he's going to make regarding troops into Afghanistan. Joining me now live to talk more about this, Democratic strategist Jason Schechter and Republican strategist Danny Vargas. Great to have you both. Danny, I want to start with you. As we were saying here, October now, the deadliest month ever for U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Does these headlines, does it put the pressure on the president to make this decision?
Well, I certainly hope so. I really think it's decision time for us in Afghanistan. Our strategy in Afghanistan right now is in limbo. President Obama has been vacillating, trying to make decisions, but frankly, he made his comprehensive strategy announcements back in March. So it's time to be able to provide General McChrystal with the resources that he's been asking for weeks now. His recommendations have been on the table for weeks, and we need to provide the military the resources that they so richly deserve so we can move forward with actually making progress in our strategy in Afghanistan.
And Jason, a big headline today, a former Marine Corps captain and Iraq War veteran, Matthew Ho. He was a State Department employee most recently, and he's now becoming the first U.S. official to resign in a protest to the war in Afghanistan. He says it's not about how they're fighting, it's more about why for him. How bad is this in terms of just PR? We know that this caught a lot of attention, and we're hearing about ripples all the way up to the White House.
Well, look, I think that President Obama said this very well himself in Jacksonville yesterday, that he has a very solemn decision to make when he sends troops into harm's way, and that's a decision that he shouldn't rush, and he should do it only when it's absolutely necessary. And, you know, I think General McChrystal's words have been taken out of context during this debate. You know, the general himself said that this isn't just purely a military decision, and that the debate really isn't so much about whether or not we send troops in harm's way as to whether and what the strategy is. And I think the Obama administration has looked very closely at what he said, and I think they're deciding right now what is that and what are the right actions that they need to take.
Jason Schechter and Danny Vargas, obviously we'll be talking about this in the days to come. Still a lot more to talk about on it. Thank you, gentlemen.